Good evening, my fellow classmates. So, for this week's chapters, for chapter 3, the first quote that I picked was at the beginning of the chapter, and it was by Jeff Winner, who's the CEO of LinkedIn. And I didn't take the whole quote because there was only one portion of it that really spoke to me, and that was, "Managers tell people what to do, leaders inspire them to do it." I think what he's trying to say here is that there's much more to being a leader than just telling people what to do. And the reason I find this significant is sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the fact that as a leader, you do need to tell people what to do. But more importantly, if you can get people to do it without having to tell them to do it or inspire them to do something, you generally will get better results. The second quote that I chose from this chapter was from page 34. It was in the summary, and it says, "Nonverbal leakage cues reveal how you really feel or think about a topic or a problem." I think what they're saying here is to be aware of what your face is doing, especially if that's not the message that you're trying to send. It's really easy to forget that your body shows more than what you say. Um, they say in the book that like over 90% of the message we receive is from nonverbal cues. So I think it's what they're trying to say is just be aware of that. And that's kind of why that quote spoke to me, because it's really easy to forget, especially when interacting with like your friends and there's other people around who you don't know are paying attention to what you're doing, things like that. So just being aware that your nonverbal cues are matching the verbal cues that you're giving out. Moving on to chapter 4. For chapter 4, I picked a quote from page 37, and it says that listening is a communication leadership skill that most people struggle with on the job, primarily because people have not been taught how to listen. I think what they're saying here is that, forgive me, I think what they're saying here is that we have been taught how to read, we've been taught how to write, but nobody really ever sits down and explains to you how to effectively listen to somebody. And I think this is significant because it implies that we don't have this knowledge, and so it's our responsibility to do what it takes to get that knowledge. And then the second quote that I got, forgive me, I got a tickle in my throat, is from page 45, and it's also from the summary. And it says that listening is the process of receiving, constructing meaning from, and responding to verbal and nonverbal messages. What they're saying here is that it's more than just hearing someone. It's more than just the biological process of hearing sound. You have to be able to receive it, construct meaning from it, and then be able to respond to it. Another thing that really stood out, or why this quote was significant to me, is that they include verbal and nonverbal messages. So we're not just supposed to only pay attention to the messages that are coming from people's lips, but also pay attention to the nonverbal messages that people send. Because quite honestly, as the chapter highlighted, those are more truthful. So in conclusion, I think these were really good chapters. They explain the importance of being aware of your verbal and nonverbal communication, and then the importance of being able to listen effectively. Till next week.